Hey, hope you're doing well. This is the webinar From Podcast to Profit. The whole premise of this webinar is to talk through a strategy that will show you how to actually make money through podcast guesting. It's a little bit of a mindset shift. It's very much a paradigm shift. And I'm excited to share this with you because I've accrued this knowledge over the last 6+ years of podcasting. And I'm ready to share it with the world. Today, what you're going to learn is actually some common myths around podcast guesting. There's some reasons why it works well for a select group of people, but there are reasons why it just plain doesn't work and it causes a lot of frustration. It's a lot of wasted time, a lot of wasted potential income. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the new strategy, that new paradigm, that new mindset shift that will work. And I'll explain also why it works so well. And once you get to the end, you'll be like, oh, that's cool. That does make a lot of sense. At least that's the intent anyway, is to share this with you and talk about why this strategy works. If you're on this webinar, here's some things that I know about you. Probably you're a business owner. Okay. You wouldn't be trying to figure out like how does podcast guesting make money for me unless you had some kind of a business. You have a course or a book or a workshop or a high ticket offer, something that you're trying to sell that you're building your revenue stream around. You're probably a business owner. You may have been guesting already on podcasts, but you're getting a minimal return. And I know that because I've been that person before. I've been in those shoes more times than I can count. And yeah, it can be frustrating when you spend all that time, effort, and energy getting your wisdom out there and you hear crickets. You don't get any booked calls. That sucks. All right. The other thing might be, hey, you're thinking about guesting, but you're scared to be in the second category. A lot of people that fit in that second group, that they've spent all kinds of time, effort, and energy on these shows. They don't have anything to show for it. What probably could work, but you haven't quite cracked the code on the strategy to make it work. You're in the right place. This webinar is going to talk exactly about what strategy it takes to get there. All right. So here are the myths that a lot of podcast guests, current ones or would be potential ones, they enter into the arena with these myths already entrenched in their minds. The first is a large audience means you're getting large engagement. So probably think, hey, Joe Rogan podcast, that'd be a good example. Dude's getting 100,000 downloads a month. He's getting all kinds of, sponsorships and things like that. It's wow, if I could be on a show like that would be amazeballs. Okay. So finding a show that has a large audience does not mean that there's large engagement. A download doesn't really count as engagement. It just counts as, hey, they listened to the episode. All right. Engagement means they're doing something about the information that they found. They're taking some kind of action. They're engaging, right? It's like a wedding engagement. It's not really an engagement if the other person is not equally engaged to you. If it's a one-way thing, it's like, well, this is one-sided. An engagement means they're following up, they're taking some kind of action, they're reaching out to you, they're booking calls, whatever it is. Okay. A large audience does not always guarantee a large engagement. It also doesn't guarantee relevant engagement. So let's say, for example, I want to guest on shows that I can get on and I can talk about how to use a podcast to generate money or something like that. And I get on a big show, large audience, but it's full of people that are in their 80s that are well into retirement. That's not really the kind of people I want to get with. And if they do engage with the show, there's a high likelihood that it's not going to result in business for me. So maybe they've got some engagement, but it's not relevant engagement. Okay. Another rash assumption that we make, a myth, is that people read show notes. It's great to have all kinds of information in the show notes. Not everybody's going to read that. They're not going to read it because they listen to podcasts because that's their preferred form of content consumption. They want to listen to it. They don't want to use their eyeballs. They want to use their ear holes. Okay. So putting information, rich as it may be, into the show notes is not going to guarantee that they're going to see it and even click the link that you so masterfully put in the show notes for people. It's going to result in low engagement from there. There's also a myth that people listen to the whole episode. We live in an age where ADHD is a thing, okay, especially amongst entrepreneurs, okay? To assume that people are going to listen to the whole episode, to run the gauntlet, survive it as it were, get all the way to the end and say, all right, here's the call to action. Come over to my awesome $7 workshop or whatever irresistible offer it is. You're kind of assuming that they're going to make it all the way to the end. They might not. They might dip out at the halfway point. As soon as they get what they need, they're gone. If they get what they need in the first 7 minutes of the episode, they're out. Okay. Then the final myth is that we'll assume that the host is excellent at promotion. There are lots and lots of ways to promote a podcast. Okay. I've tried a lot of them, and I'm sure there are tons more methods that haven't even crossed my radar. Okay. Assuming that the host is so excellent at promoting their own show that they are going to 100% get it in front of the right people at the right time for the right reason every single time is a huge myth. Okay. A lot of podcast hosts, unfortunately, they don't even let you know that the episode's gone live. Okay. Much less promote it to their social media. They trust that the algorithm is going to put it in front of the right folks. And that's a myth. Okay. That's a myth. So all of these are myths that we go into as potential podcast guests and we assume they're true and they're actually not. All right. So here's the new strategy that I want to share with you and touch on a little bit is it gets around those myths in a powerful way. Okay. The first is, yeah, we want to help build the host listenership by bringing some traffic to listen to the episode in a creative way. But we're really going to be leveraging our audience mainly. All right. So if you're watching this, you've already got an audience, you've already got a following, you've got people that are following you or friends with you on Facebook. You've got people that are following you or connected to you on LinkedIn. You've probably got followers and connections on X, Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok, Reddit, anywhere, email list, you name it, anything that you've got where you've got pockets of people that have said, yes, I elect to step closer. I like this person. I want to get closer. I want to be in their circles a little bit more. Okay, you've already got an audience. It's right there. The fact that they are there says a lot. The people that take a step closer, they're at least not complete strangers. They at least know about you and you at least know about them. That's one step closer to a financial buying decision. All right. The third point is to always answer what's in it for me. If I record a podcast, let's say I ask you, I'm like, hey, I got a podcast recorded. You want to come listen to it? And I give you a link. I have to explain what's in it for you. I can't just give you a link and be like, here you go. It's 30 minutes. Hope that helps. Here's the show notes. Hope that helps. Like I have to explain what are you going to get out of it? What do I expect that you're going to come away with? I think you're going to get value out of it, but you have to believe that as well in order for you to click the button or click the link and actually come watch the whole episode. Okay. After that is make sure to offer a clear next step to your calendar. So if somebody listens to an interview and they're like, wow, I need to find out more. It's obvious this person knows what they're talking about. You, as the podcast guest, somebody says that person knows what they're talking about. Let them schedule a time on your calendar. Okay. If they're taking that step, that is a big step that they're saying, I am willing to commit a certain amount of time to talk with this person. And I know they're probably going to pitch me. And I'm okay with that because I trust them enough to say, this is a good use of my time. This is a good use of that spot on my calendar. And I want to spend time with that person, the podcast guest, you in this case. And then the final thing, the new strategy includes focusing on really nurturing your network. I think often the reason why people want to guest on shows, and like I said, I've fallen into this trap before, is I've got to increase my network. I've got to get more people in my network, more people. I'd rather have, honestly, a really small but dedicated and mighty network. I don't want to have a bajillion followers because if they're following me, they're just consuming a lot of times. Okay. I want the people that, hey, we're mutually benefiting each other. Like I know the people that I'm friends with on Facebook for the most part. I got some newbies that are in there more recently, but the vast majority of people that are in my friends list, especially on Facebook, they're people I've known for a while. I've done work with them. They've been clients. I've been clients of theirs. We've been in masterminds together. We've got strategic partnerships. It's more than just a passive, hey, I like your content. I'm going to drop it every once in a while. Like we're actually doing some hard, heavy lifting every once in a while with each other. And I love it. And those are the kinds of people that I want to nurture. They've invested enough of their time with me that I want to invest time with them and I want to benefit them. Okay. So this is why this works. And I'll talk a little bit about the underlying strategy of this. So the first step is controlling the flow of traffic. And this is actually the cornerstone for this whole strategy. Like when you go and guest on shows, for example, the host is going to put it up on their YouTube channel, on their Spotify station, wherever it is. Okay. Control the flow of traffic. I don't want to send a bunch of people to a YouTube channel, awesome as it might be, because now it's up to the content of that channel to promote what I'm doing. Okay. I want to control that information. I want to control that narrative. So instead, what I would do is I would create a single landing page that has the takeaways at the top. Once you're at this landing page, here's what you're going to get out of watching this interview, and then have the interview right there. As they're watching the interview, offer a clear next step. If you've gotten this far, I would love to have you download this lead magnet, 5 ways to go from X to Y, or book a call with me and my team. I would love to hear from you. Okay. So it's really about crafting that environment from the ground up that, yes, will still benefit the host whose show you guested on, because you're embedding the episode there on the landing page. It still counts as a listen for them. So they still build their listenership, but you have a single clear place to attract leads to, that once they're there, it's okay. I know why I'm here. I know what I'm going to get. I got that. All right. This person's true to their word. I want to find out more. I'm going to book a call. I'm going to download the lead magnet. I'm going to take some next step. All right. So essentially, what we're doing is we're turning every single podcast episode into its own strong sales funnel. All right. So rather than being omnipresent, trying to be out there in front of everybody all the time, just making lots of noise, it's have a single place to draw people to, have a reason why they know they're going to come there because they're going to get something out of it. And then every single podcast episode that you guest on is an attractor of leads. It's not just another piece of content. It is doing work for you. It is doing work for you in an evergreen fashion. I was just talking about this the other day with somebody, and I said, I want you to think back to all the different podcast episodes that you've guested on. I said, how many shows have you been on? And they said, 30 or 40. I said, okay, what if every one of those 30 or 40 episodes, you've got like a different topic for each one, right? And they were like, yeah. I said, what if every one of those 30 or 40 episodes that you guested on was its own standalone sales funnel? There's a reason why they would come listen to episode 13. There's a reason why they become listen to episode 35. It's a wildly different reason, but it's going to attract a different segment of your network to come closer, to be nurtured, that they know they can come away with some valuable information. And then some of those people are going to say, I need to talk with that person. It's obvious I know what they're talking about. It's obvious they get me. They understand me. They understand the challenges I'm facing. I think I might want to work with them. That's how business happens, right? And he's like, it was just a head exploding moment. And this is that head exploding thing. Now, the hard part is, in order to do this on your own, you got to be good at quite a number of things. And I've probably oversimplified this with just this list of 6. I didn't want to change the font size on this and be like, I can't read the text. It's so tiny. I got to get my readers on. Okay. But the hard part is, you've got to be decent at website work. Okay. The ability to go into the back end of your website, throw up a page, make a sales funnel, put all the information on there, embed the video, make sure to make a lead magnet, all that stuff, put in the takeaways, all the information. That does take some effort, take some time. Okay. If you're decent at website work, it doesn't take as much time, but it still takes time. All right. When it's time for somebody to get on your calendar, you probably want to have a seamless way to do it. You don't want to have to be going back and forth via email and saying, I'm open 3 p.m. Central to 5 p.m. Central on Thursday the 17th. What about you? And have to, coordinate like that. That's just a pain in the tube, honestly. Calendar integration, you have to know the tools to do that. Actually getting on shows, all right? It can be fairly simple to get on a show, but the ones where you're going to be able to highlight your expertise, it's not just 2 people talking, just having a good conversation. Those are a little bit more challenging to get onto. They usually have a pre-screening. They have, can you send me a media kit? Can you send me this stuff? It requires a lot of communication and follow-up. Not everybody is going to be instantly available. Sometimes people will say, yeah, I can slot you in middle of next month. Does that work? Yeah, that probably works fine, but you got to be able to communicate and follow up and track all that information so nobody gets lost. Nobody slips through the cracks. Okay. Afterward, how to generate content. You just had this awesome episode. Do you know how to clip it up into small pieces that you can use on social media? For the people that would prefer to read a small piece of verbiage, a small blurb, do you know how to distill down a key topic into a 1 to 2 sentence statement and say, hey, comment, interview to get access to the full thing, right? That takes some effort and takes some follow up just with managing your own social media and then designing lead magnets for every single episode. Like you got to be decent at communication, but also graphic design. Okay. It's the hard part. It's all learnable stuff. None of the stuff that I listed here is anything that's magic. You can Google all of this stuff and figure it out if you want to do it the hard way. If you want to do it the easy way, though, our team handles all of that. All right. So Podcastify Me is a full service podcasting agency, and we are all about using the podcasting medium to actually make money for a business. We're talking about guesting on shows, getting booked on shows, and how do we turn those into sales funnels. But the flip side too is if somebody comes along and they want to host a show, same thing, same principles apply. You can turn every single episode you have into a strong sales funnel for your business. All right. So if you want to find out more, I would love for you to book a chat with my team. There's a button a little bit further down if you scroll down just a little bit. And I would love to see if there's a way we can hear from you. So it's a 30-minute chat. Like I said, it's going to be booked with my team, and you'll get a chance to talk with me, another member of the team, whoever else is in the mix, and we would love to find out more about your situation. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up, and I want to thank you for the gift of your time today. So this was 20 minutes well spent, I hope, and I would love to hear back from you and see if there's a way we can help you. You absolutely can benefit from guesting on podcasts. It absolutely can turn into revenue for your business. We can absolutely help. So, again, this is Fritz, founder of Podcastify Me, and I'm going to sign off and hope to hear from you soon. Take care. Bye bye.